As we begin our tour of Philadelphia, I'm going to remind you that be prepared for a bumpy ride because this is Philadelphia, where at times they take their time to fix potholes in the road, and at times they don't fix it at all. So, what I'm introducing you to as we get started, one of the very few public tennis courts here in Philadelphia, adjacent to a property and a community garden. The property is being constructed and the community garden is now the bottom of all of this. And there's some tennis rackets that were left here. I don't know if they're here for people to take, for people to use, or if they're just here waiting for somebody to use them. As you see, people rarely come in here, so they're still here. No one has taken them. Let me just check my mic and my levels before we really get going. And these are children's rackets that are here on the fence. So if you want to measure the level of need for sporting equipment, there it is. These have been here overnight and no one has taken them. But I'd like you to keep an eye on the court. Just like many of the roads here in Philadelphia, they don't have painted lines on the court. So it's very hard to see, especially when it's very bright, but especially when it's very dark also. You can't really tell where the lines start or where they stop many times. And you can tell this is a court that needs to be painted over. As you look at the nets, a lot of them are torn. People have tried to keep them together with plastic, with Velcro, with tie strings, but it's a task too heavy for any one, two, or even a dozen people. So the streets are not regularly cleaned here in Philadelphia like they are in bigger cities like New York City, which is good and bad. Good in that you don't have to move your car to the opposite side of the street a lot of times. Bad in that a lot of places, because of it, and cars don't have to move, they enforce 2-hour parking. Also bad in that nothing gets picked up. You have your tennis court rules. Tennis is not as popular a sport as it was, I would say, 10 years ago, especially here in the inner city. And I don't know, there was a time when the Williams sisters were hot and everyone in the city wanted to pick up a tennis racket as a way to make it out of their circumstances. So I'm going to turn here. Good morning. So what I'm doing is testing out the VoroMotors e-move scooter, orange variety, the one that has given me a lot of problems in the past. And what we're doing is we're trying it because the last time we tried, as you remember, it stopped about 20 times. And after all is said and done, should we give them a fair shot? Yes, let's give them a fair shot. Let's start from scratch. Let's give them a chance to redeem themselves. The controller has been replaced half dozen times. And what we're working with right now is the new and improved, supposedly, sine wave controller. We're starting with 57% of the battery. So it's 57% full. It's a lady walking, no bra on. You can see whatever was happening underneath. In this part of Philly, you're going to see a lot of things that you might not see where you're usually from. And a lot of it has to do with racist free zone signs, Black Lives Matter signs, a lot of signs signaling to what political party you're a part of, and mostly leans blue, is part of Philly. But let me just cross here. I want to show you something that will be considered a Philly special. And I'm not talking about the pickup truck without mirrors. This sign right here. Right here, mattresses all over the place. There you are, that's a Philly special. You get to see a mattress right outside of home. Let's do a turn this way. Let me just tighten on the harness a little bit on this camera because I know if I don't do it, the potholes are just gonna camera in. All right, let's keep going as we make our way from Hazel Avenue to Cedar Avenue to then Baltimore Avenue, which is a selling point for a lot of what is considered West Philadelphia. And these potholes, man, between the potholes and the trolley tracks and uneven pavement, you are in for an adventure today, I tell you. There's a bag of potato chips on the street, bag of Mexican food, Mexican food baggage on the street. You see a lot of these signs out, passing the famous Fuwa. Trolley tracks coming up, bumpy, 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 bumpy. Fuwa Mini Mart. It's a Vietnamese place. Famous Baltimore Avenue. And every advertisement when they're trying to sell real estate, they'll say it's close to Baltimore Avenue. But many times, it's just a selling point. It's trying to send signals out there for the niceness of the neighborhood. But this is it. They have some nice houses, some charming houses, and things like that. A lot of it is still affordable, depending on what you consider affordable, I guess. We passed by this gas station that has no name on it, a few cents cheaper than the gas station that we're about to approach, is Sunoco. I see they covered some of the major potholes here that were here for about 4 years. Gas right now, as we approach summer, is $3.71 for the regular. We'll just make it past. There's a man standing on the bike lane here. I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's running, maybe he's changing his tune. You never know what to expect in Philadelphia. Here's a school for children and people with cerebral palsy. We're about to cross Clark Park. So as you see, it's a smooth ride. Of the things that I got done on the scooter include the tire, who I had to change, which I paid for myself. The battery I did not have to pay for. The controller I had changed about 1,000 times. Things that I'm noticing right now that I don't like. The steering wheel feels uneven. It even looks uneven, but you might be able to correct that just by twisting and turning it. The light that's in front that you can't see now because of the reflection of the sun, it's a little bit too bright for that, but it's not powerful enough for anyone to be able to see in the nighttime. So we cut to the left, and we're going to continue to Chester Avenue. And every Saturday outside of Clark Park, they have what I would say would be equivalent to a green market, Amish market, something like that, where you can buy your goods from a farm. And over here in this area over here, as I cross over to gravel, so yes, the VoroMotors scooters can't handle gravel. A lot of men sit here in the afternoons and they play chess. Even when it's raining sometimes, you still see them playing chess there. They were moved there from Dunkin' Donuts because they weren't buying a lot of things. They were just playing chess in there, let's be honest. Let's go through here. Statue of Charles Dickens. Let's see if you can get a better angle of that if we turn around. As people set up for their flea market and their wares this morning. Were you able to see it? I'm not sure. Standing next to Little Nell of the storybook franchise. Author Charles Dickens. We cut through here. Good morning. And let's continue. Through here. It's always good to say good morning to people. So, why? There used to be an expression. Say good morning. Say hello. You didn't sleep with the person. About to pass a Jubilee School for Social Justice. I used to live around this area. Not anymore. It's University City. During the whole lockdowns and the whole rioting over George Floyd, this place over here, Mill Creek Tavern, was under scrutiny because the owner was supposed to be some kind of evil guy for having his beliefs on things. The dog barks at me. Oh, nice. Very nice dog. But yeah, his windows were broken about 3-4 times during those events of that time. Just going to continue down here. And you see a lot of car wrecks here. I think they can use a little bit more traffic signs and traffic signals. Over here you have a stop sign, they have a trolley crossing, they have cars coming 100 miles per hour. And sometimes no one knows what they're doing all at the same time. Lane changes, cars don't know whether to signal or not because they don't know whether the road is going straight or they're supposed to turn, or what is straight or what is crooked. It almost seems like society at the same time. So we continue here on this bike path that is not marked at all for cars or for anything. I think they should just assume that we know where we're going. We see I think that's a public construction truck with a flat tire. You could hear it come from a mile away because of the flat tire. And we're going to attempt to cross to the other side here as cars lessen. Let me just stick to this side. And I'm wearing bright red because I don't want to be approached by an oncoming car. Try to get on the sidewalk here. We're about to cross another funny street. And as the berries stain the sidewalk with their dye. We get ready to cross to the road taking us to the veterinary hospital. And on the other side of the street we have a VA hospital, which is decorated with the Memorial Day decorations. The thing about crossing this street right here, where Baltimore Avenue ends, is that one light is green and the other one is not. Now, if you think you have the right of way and you attempt to cross, you don't see the cars coming from the blind spot. And that has proven to be problematic for a lot of people crossing the street and a lot of oncoming cars who are many times met with people who they don't see coming from around the corner. It's just a bad angle, which city planning needs to reconsider if they want to save money on lawsuits and things like that. And yes, and we are on the VoroMotors scooter. The battery right now is at 55.5%. So we make our way into the University of Pennsylvania walk. No cars coming, flowers blooming. And for many students, this is move-in day and move-out day of the universities. And money talks. So at any given moment, if you're driving through here, you might find that an entire road is closed. And it's because college has separated the road. They have reserved the road for students moving in and out. You just have to go around. But if you want to, if they're not looking, you can just go around it and bypass all that debauchery. Okay, you notice you have these buttons on the street lights, which pass the School of Veterinary Medicine for the University of Pennsylvania. The business of taking care of animals is booming. People care for their pets, and they bank that you want to preserve the memory of your pet the longest that you can, so they'll charge a lot of money for operations and things like that. This is unfortunate. And as I mentioned it to you, you see here, the road is closed, and that's what it looks like when it is. So for cars coming this way, they have to go around. And for roads, but this time I think they're doing it for construction. I see a big crane over there stopping cars, or at least attempting to stop cars. And that's not a city police car. That's a University of Penn police car. Yes, they have their own police department. And they also have a train stop right in the middle of the campus, which is right here. What do you think? Should we ride through the campus? Should we challenge the law? This is 37th Street Station for trolleys. And this is what it looked like from this side. This is a makeshift trolley car on this side if you want to ever come here and take some pictures. If you do not own a home, I don't think they clean it very much. I see a part of a cane there. I see food, I see drinks, and I see flies roaming about. So I could also assume that this is not cleaned out on the regular. The sign says the class of 1956 trolley, but I bet in 1956 it was kept a lot cleaner than this museum piece antique is kept now. So that's what it looks like from the inside. We back up on our eMove Cruiser scooter. Battery now at 55%. The road is blocked, so we'll attempt to get access to South Street and the South Street Bridge through here, trying to go around the crane and the construction. Skateboarder just passing us. And it's, unlike many other campuses, it's in the middle of a major city. And they do have some housing around here. As we ride through the Penn campus, trying to make our way onto the South Street Bridge. A lot of workers getting up early for their morning shift. You recognize them with their dark blue attire, which is a uniform for the University of Pennsylvania. There's a crane that was blocking us, so it blocks access to the road. Can't remember college. Like, it's just, I mean, I do, but just in bursts. I know because I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs or anything like this. This is a famous love sculpture all over Philadelphia. If you're a fan of that, there it is. Try to make it right over here. Yeah, we should be back on track pretty soon. Go down through here. A lot of people feel safer next to universities. Some people feel safer living within the community. That's a personal preference. That's up to you. But it's definitely a place where if you're going to go for a first date or something like that, you could definitely walk within the campus with less issue that you would if you didn't go through the campus, because it's well protected by the police department of University of Pennsylvania. Let's see if we are past the construction zone. And we're at the Perlman Quadrangle. If you need a map, we can get you one upon exit of this video. See if we can make it down here without any issue. Some nice bikes. Philly has become infiltrated with a lot of electric vehicles like this one, but mostly electric bikes for deliveries, especially in what they call the gig economy, where you are able to make money off of Uber Eats, things like that. Look both ways. A lot of people don't do. The approaching Penn Medicine, the research center, and we have beat the construction zone. It's a nice looking dog right there. We just need to cross the street here. Let's see if we just jump into traffic without looking. And there you see, this is what a block street looks like. Let's see. There it is. There's a man talking to himself. Close to the hospital, so he's in proximity of help, but perhaps not exactly getting it. I always wonder how do people like that make it throughout the day? How do they get what they need there? I mean, they're not that off that they don't know what they need to live. But there's not necessarily somebody helping them. And it's important to go through life looking at people, not just ignoring people. Sometimes you can't help everybody. Imagine if you stopped and decided to help everybody that asked you for help. Pretty soon you won't have anything for yourself. But acknowledgement is key. You never know what can help someone. Everyone doesn't need money. Sometimes people just need a finger pointing them in the right direction, even if that finger is the middle one. So let's keep going through here. People waiting to cross. Very nice people. You can tell they're not from here. They're waiting for the light, actually. And I got to straighten out the steering wheel because, again, on this VoroMotors e-cruiser scooter, the steering wheel, again, is out of sync. It's just out of sync. I'm not sure what these cars are doing, but I'll be going around them and staying in the bike lane over here. As we go to the left, there's an event happening at Franklin Field, which is where the University of Pennsylvania has their football games. There's a line forming right now for a later event. See a lot of joggers. Actual joggers. Not people making believe they're jogging, or just are into the fashion of running. This is one of the longer lights here. One of the longer lights that you're going to find here in Philadelphia. As far as crossing a street, it's not timed accurately. So this right turn signal, green light, is the shorter one. But once this leaves, it'll be our turn to cross, because those two middle lights that are currently red will have green arrows pointing forward, which will mean that we can go forward. In this beautiful morning, we're walking with the smell of marijuana, cannabis, which has been made legal, but people were doing it before. So I don't know how I feel about people doing it while they're driving. The lights turn, here we go. And now we have gone from Spruce to South Street just by crossing this bridge. And this is one of the more brightly painted lines here in Philadelphia. So we're going to try to cross this street here in front of the C.H. Roberts Children's Hospital for Pediatrics. Let me just go here so I will get out of the bike lane. It's not good to stop on a bike lane. Why? Because you can get hit, that's why. And we're crossing. As you see the skyline of Philadelphia. We head down, there's a train track right to the right of us. It says walk bike on a ramp. We're on a scooter, electric scooter. You have to be very, very careful as to how you word things. so you're easily understood. Someone asked me, how come you pronounce every single word very clearly? Well, that's because we have people watching from all over. I don't expect them to know English outside of the way that they were taught. So words that everyone understands is favorable when you're broadcasting to what can be hundreds, if not thousands of people. So we're here now in the Schuylkill River Trail. This is used for running many times. Good morning. And you can smell the cleaning agents that they have in the water. And you see a lot of people with their dogs at this time. People exercising. It is going to be beach season pretty soon, and pool season, and get-togethers with family, and less clothes season. So people notice, so they have stepped up their exercise game in the last few weeks. Some people the last few days, some people the last few minutes. Public service announcement, especially now we passed the FMC Communications building, FMC Insurance Company building, Zero building, Comcast One. Communication is becoming something that many people do not do well. Why? Because most of the time that we spend it on a tablet or in some electronic device, which I don't care what you say, it's hampering the way that people relate and communicate with one another. And that's why, if you have a chance, definitely if you have a chance to speak publicly, try it. Because whatever you don't use, you will indefinitely lose. I'll try to stay to this side, we try to stay to our side. People walking their dogs on their lane. I don't think people understand that the dog, if you're walking on a lane that's already narrow, it's going to make it so, if you're already walking in a lane that's already narrow, they're going to take off even more space, especially if you have a long leash on your dog. And the other thing, you also have to realize that you're not the only one walking through these parts. You pass a sleeping man again. And that's why I say, once you get used to acknowledging people, even if you don't directly interact with them, you will become a better person for doing that. So just like this, just stopping in the middle of the lane with a stroller that's wider than anything else. And for this, am I wearing a helmet? No, I am not. But I'm also not traveling at high speeds. Does it make sense? No, it does not make sense. But it's a personal preference, just like some people smoke and others don't. It's a personal preference. Yes. So you see it? The time is about 8:15, later than I usually like to come out here. And to the right, what you're seeing is a train delivering oil from north of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's the state of Pennsylvania, not Philadelphia, by the CSX company. It's been here for years. Throwback Ken Griffey Jr. jersey. So that usually you have access to cross, but since that train is parked there, you can't cross to the other side, which is fine for us. We're here on what is known as Kelly Drive on the Schuylkill River Trail. And again, people not looking back at all, but you can take in all the sights and sounds of Schuylkill River. And I do have a horn attached to my scooter, but it's so loud that it'll probably scare someone in the way of traffic instead of out of the way of traffic. And it's a smooth ride. Something that has made me smile is watching people walk together. And to be more specific, black families walking together is something that you don't see much nowadays, especially around here. Either it's because of political agendas or just there are a lot of things economically that will set you apart or will try to put you against one another. But when you see it, it's a good sign to not see people tense with one another, but just walking relaxed, especially at this time of day. As we pass the art museum and the skate park, let's see if we can stop in front of it for a second. If it's not too crowded, let's see if we can do that. Cobblestone roads and the smell of marijuana welcomes us. We'll be here. And whoever Irregular is, as a tag-up name, becoming very popular here in Philadelphia. Everywhere you go, it says irregular, trying to be the next lead tag-up person. And we just take a look. That is what it looks like before everybody gets here. And everyone gets a chance to, there's enough space for everybody to be here and they get to tag up wherever they go. And let's continue on our ride. The art museum is on one side of this and the skate park is just a little below it on the left-hand side of the art museum here in Philadelphia. And unlike the one in New York, it's not suggested donation, especially including locals. You have to pay unless specified, you have to pay the regular fee to get in. Let's continue. And you might see a lot of, right now, rainbow flags up everywhere because of the month that, at the end of June, has been designated a month for, I guess, what is it called? Good morning. Gay people. Let's see if we can go down through here. And hopefully we have brakes. So right off the top, you can tell that the brakes are a major improvement, which weren't when I first got the scooter. It took 4 tries for them to get it right. And that's not only on their technicians, but also the quality control that the customer has, that the company has. And it says a lot when you have to take it 4 times someplace for them to get it right. I'm noticing a lot of wireless headphones out here. Not even the Beats. Just a lot of companies have come into the market, and a lot of companies that look like Beats are out there, but they're not. But people have chosen those compared to the wired ones. I still use the wired ones. It's a personal preference. If you ask me why, I might tell you. But for right now, that's the one I choose to use. And also a lot of these bikes with the bigger tires, it seems to be more comfortable for off-roading and trail riding. We're looking to go around, and that's a smooth ride right in front of us. Yeah, good morning. And you see a lot of people with their pets. Always important to be polite. I don't go anywhere without my manners. We're going to this fountain over here, which during the pandemic was closed. But it is a beautiful fountain, nonetheless. Philly is good for a lot of it. They have a lot of good places for art. If you think it's strange to say good morning while you're in Philadelphia, it is, because a lot of people don't say it. Because crime is high. When you don't have a sense of order, you don't have a sense of politeness. You don't know what to expect. So in between your small circle, you might say good morning. Sometimes you give a nod, sometimes you give a stare. But to actually verbalize good morning, it will seem strange if you come here and you come from a place where that is the custom. Universally, it's becoming less customary to say good morning, to keep to yourself. Some European countries, it's not customary to speak to everyone, some Asian countries as well. But you'll notice that in Philadelphia, it's not only part of the culture not to say good morning, but just to keep going and walk faster as you approach a stranger. I'm glad we had this talk. As we continue on our quest down Kelly Drive with your host, with the most. Let's try to jump on the grass here. See if we can. If you have any issues lifting or anything like that, this scooter is about, I would say, 60 pounds, something like that. And so if you don't have an elevator in your building, if you don't have to take it off, just like one flight of steps, then you might notice that it can be a little heavy to you. So just bend those knees, keep the back aligned so you won't throw it out while you're moving your machine. We're gonna go around. I'm surprised how many people just don't look or just not aware. I don't know who's worse, the men or the women. I would say both are equally not aware. Pass the DJ over here, okay. Let's try to pass fast so we can get copyrighted for music that might be playing at certain sections of this video. It's not my intention, so I'm gonna blow by these people right now. Yeah. Unintentional copyright strikes. So if you ever want someone not to record you, don't tell them not to record you. Just start playing some copyrighted music to them. And it looks like it's getting set to be one of the busier days around here. Just by the looks of things. I'm gonna try to pass this couple. They have a baby, so I'm trying to be extra cautious. I have to do it because they're not looking. Sometimes it's better to pass them than to actually wait for them to make a move. You're waiting too much, and then the opportunity leaves you or becomes more dangerous. There's a life lesson there somewhere. Yeah. If you need to blow past everybody, blow past everybody. This guy coming. So we're back on track. We're away from the congestion that was there a couple seconds ago. If I make another investment in a motorized vehicle, it will probably be an electric bike, because I do miss the feeling of pedaling. But I wouldn't I would enjoy the privilege of assisted pedaling, especially for long trips and going up rough hills. I'm trying to preserve my head. I'm putting my neck down as we pass low-hanging branches. There's a life lesson there somewhere too. It's a little more crowded here, so we're gonna go around here. If we stay on track, there's some kind of race happening. I see a lot of people with bibs. It might just be finishing up. A lot of these races happen in the morning, so it won't be so hot. And usually when you go around curves like this, you want to look to see that there's no other person or motorized vehicle going around them. It's all about safety first, safety second, safety third. We have some daylight in front of us. We're going. And if you haven't already, you see the road team. Slow down as you come to the curves. The sine wave controller already is a big improvement on VoroMotors' last release of a controller, the original release, which was shoddy at best because they could not put together a product. I don't think they even bothered to put together a product that would last more than a year, which is unfortunate because they lost a lot of customers and their Better Business Bureau ratings suffer because of it. But up until now, it has been smooth, and we've gone up one hill, maybe two, and it's been consistent, where with the other controller probably would have been out by now. So that's one improvement. I think they need to make a bigger effort to win over customers that already have sworn off their product because they don't trust them anymore. And then they can worry about marketing newer products to get newer customers. You don't go back to a company that's not worked out for you in the beginning. It's just bad business. As we're about to pass East Laurel Hill Cemetery, the road is blocked off up until then. Just a public service announcement, another one. I haven't had a coffee and I haven't had breakfast. I just went out and decided to start working right away. That's just what I did. If your vehicle is smaller than the one that's oncoming, you should probably slow down. If you are a slow walker and the person about to walk at a faster pace and you could tell that person from a space and time arrangement is coming from further away, you should probably slow down, give them right away. If you see a baby about to cross in front of you, perhaps you should give them the right of way because they don't always make the quickest decisions. So that's just something if you're out on the road you might notice. Things that you can't plan for are people taking selfies on the road, people so involved in themselves that they don't worry about causing an accident because they need to get the perfect angle and the top shot to update their Instagram stories with. You can't plan for a lot of that. So this time, a few months ago, as you remember, probably almost a year ago today, we were walking this back. We were walking this back because the controller had stopped. So as I slowed down to make those turns, don't be one of those people that has the content is more important than people. No, people always come first. See an older man jogging, I like to see that. Even if his knees are not in it, his heart is. Doesn't matter if you can go as fast as you were in your 20s. Who does? At least you're in it. You're doing something. That lady must have been 70-something years old. She's walking. She's going at her pace. And that's what matters. There's a life lesson in there somewhere. Go at your pace. Not my pace. Your pace. The first time that I did a 5K run, which was my first run ever, I was tired probably 2 minutes into the race. It's just the run, just because I didn't do it in a long time. So your muscles were ignored for a long time. So when they're not being used, they're not being strengthened. I heard something this week: if there's no resistance, there's no growth. So you can learn from everybody. But that race, even some people who were in the race, they were telling me to lift my feet. They were telling me to, giving me encouragement. And I was able to finish. And that led to me, a few months later, completing a full marathon, which later led me to complete another 10-mile race, the Broad Street Run, where before I wouldn't consider myself a runner. So the hope is that whatever you're doing that's positive leaks into other areas of your life that is also positive. Now we're passing a group of, what is
and
this?
It looks like out of lane 3, Relentless Open veering towards lane 2.
This is for those boats.
No contact, Relentless Open holds water. Fairnaga stays on the power. No collision. But Relentless Open takes
Play by
a big
play
sag.
on boating, okay.
No contact.
Interesting, it's different.
They've got their work cut out for them because these are the no messing around crews. No real separation here between the Philadelphia Police Tracking Boat team, Fairnaga, who blinked but
You want to freak somebody out in Philly? Be a man and just say good morning, especially if you're a black man.
The PDC dogs in lane 4.
Hey, she wasn't looking. Got to give her a heads up.
Looks like the PDC dogs.
Hey, Justin, what's up? What's up? Good morning.
Race to the finish inside the last 100 now between the particle.
See, you always find somebody who you know. Yo, Joe, ¿cómo estás?
For the open division semifinals.
Terminaron.
Look at
Terminaron.
the race inside the
Yo
last
todavía,
25
okay, okay.
meters. Nose to nose, lanes 5 and 4.
Always find people you know. Oh, ok. Sí, sí. Ya después se pone más mejor allá. Sí. Te veo, cuídense. Bye.
Despite the incursion, comes across the line in third. They'll stop the clock. Fairnaga takes fourth. And the Philadelphia Police Tracking Boat team across the line fifth.
I'm not doing this.
Good stuff here. Between the dogs and the Barnable crew.
Yeah, that's smart. Amazing. Get on the main road. Get away from all this shit. I'm gonna straighten this out right now. Because again, the handlebars, they've twisted. So that's why it looks and stuff. So it keeps twisting. All the bumps are making this twist. And what we're trying to do is get this even. I like to see people out. Gonna get back on track. We approach the runners. So we're going on a main road right now because there are a lot of people coming by. So Philly's kind of tight when it comes to space. So you're gonna see a lot of people, let's say, for lack of a better, in the way, especially on the weekends, because there are not so many places, as in New York City, that you can just get together and have events like this. No, the one place where they hold events is where everybody's gonna have their events all at the same time. So there are runners here, everybody's here. But are they in front of us right now? No. You look for the open road. Some people like organized sportsman good shit. Joe! So I recognize people wherever I go. Sometimes they recognize me. Sometimes they don't. If I still look the same, and if they still look the same. Look at this. The ride up was a lot tougher than the ride down, isn't it? There's a life lesson there somewhere. Just cool air and breeze. And if I get a chance, I'm going to try to go on the main road, city roads, so you get to experience what traffic is and dangerous neighborhoods and dirty looks and appealing looks and everything under the sun. So right now the battery's at what, 53%? The speed is 18 miles per hour. I had to get a new controller from VoroMotors because, an indicator, throttle, because the one that they left me with was not working. So this one is working. It has brighter colors. Will it last me a year? I don't know. It's VoroMotors. You know, they do shoddy work. But this controller seems to be smooth so far. So we'll see what will happen in a few.
I'm actually going south.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. That's also a Philly thing. If somebody honks at you because they're being impatient, you honk at them back. Or you just get out and fight and kick everybody's ass. That's another thing you can do here in Philly. Good. Philly is a place where a lot of people are armed. So they don't want any part of that. As you see, he just turned around. Why? Because he probably had a police officer over there. That's also a very Philly thing. You see the police, you run away. Especially if you're traveling with a lot of things that you're not supposed to be having within your possession. We are Fairmount Park. See if we could go around. This car stopped. We can't go that way, so we'll try to go this way. Yes, we have a statue of Grant. Let's continue on this way. There's room for everybody, that's what I say. Well, depending on what it is. Not if you're doing messed up things, but there's room for everybody. Even for some people doing some messed up things, there's room for everybody. It's usually the way it goes. And we have a bike trail over here. This is Fairmount Park. It's a very huge park. And it smells like dead carcass right now. Go up through here. Funny when you get to some place for the first time, everything seems strange. But then after a few rounds, you get to know where everything is and the mystery is gone. Don't treat people the same way. I know the mystery is gone, but don't treat people the same way if you can't. If you just can't take it, yeah, but don't get used to using people to the point where you know how things operate, but you're still not going to, work with them or things like that, or make it so, oh, I didn't know, but what you really want to do is just do everything and do everyone. Life lesson there somewhere. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where I am right now. This is the back of Fairmount Park. If I continue along that, I think I'll know where I'll be. Fairmount Park. Could give you a tour of that too. This is what they call Reservoir Drive. There's a reservoir connected to this, as the name alludes to. It smells good around here. The smell of dead carcass is now expired. As you see, decorations on the home. Decorations, if you're Jamaican. Say decorations. I can say that because I have Jamaican in my family. What is something that you feel that you can or cannot say because you don't or you do not belong to a certain kind of group or race or whatever? Can you say decorations? Hey man, Ross. Do you feel included even if you were? Interesting questions this morning on the Life Examine channel. See? I recognize this part of the park. Sometimes it's good to approach things from a different angle so you get to know everything. And I always wait for cars. Why? Because cars are bigger. That's it. Not because they're better, just because they're bigger. I like looking at the pavement, not being part of it. How about that? So let's continue around here. Off of Reservoir Drive. Can go straight. A few basketball courts. I don't know, kids don't get up early anymore and play basketball. That's something that is shocking to me. I'm just so shocked. If you touch me, you get electrocuted. I'm shocked that kids don't go out and play basketball anymore early in the morning before anybody gets there. Oh, why? Because they could come at any hour and they can do it. You come at any hour and do it because no one ever uses it that much anymore. Just past the Parkview Apartments, Parkview section of Philadelphia. Oh, see that they brought some some fruit from farmers carrying in friends. The sign says. Nice. Nice. I like to see that. People don't go to farms. Farms come to the people. And of course, like any other city pool, this one's empty. Just a big cavernous hole in the middle of concrete. But I like to see this. The tennis courts are empty. Are full. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're surrounded by other tennis courts. Let's go and take a look. Fairmount Park tennis courts. I remember coming here when I first came to Philly, and one of the things that I realized and remember is that Philly is a little lawless, and that cars could park on the grass like this, in the middle of walkways. You just see a car parked, and it's totally fine. They park right there on the pavement. No concern for people passing it off, or wheelchairs, or people who have mobility issues. They don't even care about the car getting scratched. They're just there. And here's a group of people playing early in the morning before it gets too hot. See the sign for Legacy Tennis Communities. They tried to recruit me once, but yeah, they were a little far from where I was staying, but they have different locations. They teach kids how to play tennis and things like that. Tennis is one of those lifetime sports. There's a man practicing his serve. Sometimes they come with a ball machine. It's cheating in a way, but if you come by yourself, you have no one to play with. It can work. Yeah. Yes, tennis is one of those sports that you need a partner that's pretty even in your skill for it to be fun, or else you're just going to be running after loose tennis balls. But if you don't bring people up to speed, then they're going to, it's just going to be uneven. You're going to be running after tennis balls, falling over the fence. You're going to, There's a life lesson there somewhere. Got to be even, pretty even. Hit the ball back. Got to be able to hit the ball back. Not just keep all the balls on one side or hit it over the fence. When you speak in metaphors, you should be easily understood. And everybody's not going to get it, but the people that get it, they'll begin to understand the way you talk. I think my grandmother understood that about me, and my aunt understood that about me. This is Diamond Street. It has a luxurious name, but not a lot of shiny things happening around Diamond Street. Well, that's fine. Every street can't be the same. So unlike many people in Philly, I won't wait until the light changes for me to cross the street. You'll see people lollygaggling across the street, not deciding whether not ready to cross or not. And then when the light changes, that's when they decide to cross. That line went around the block. So yes, we're in North Philly right now. Let's pass Diamond. Diamond, see Diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. And a lot of these houses, believe it or not, that are abandoned or look like they should be abandoned, have a lot of rich Philadelphia history in them. I'm talking about from before the Civil Rights Movement, during the Civil Rights Movement, just in the history of Philadelphia. Another thing you'll see is, like you saw that car with its tire propped up on it. This is around the Strawberry Mansion area. It's a sweet name for a not so sweet area. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't use your voice, then I don't know what to tell you. You have to be able to use your voice. Get used to using your voice. Not other people waiting for other people to use their voice. Use your voice. Look at these. Some of these buildings are very beautiful. Cecil B. Moore, very prominent here in Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia needs a better motto. The city of brotherly love has taken a lot of different twists and turns. So if anybody finds a better motto than the city of brotherly love, I welcome your input. Isn't that a beautiful messed up wall right there? It can be beauty and mess. And you're usually attracted to people, let's be honest, you're usually attracted to people that find beauty in mess. And there could also be a lot of mess and beauty. There's a life lesson there somewhere. Stay on this road. Ooh, a lot of winding roads, a lot of unclean territory. Look at a tire in the middle of the bike lane. This is a part that you might want to wear a helmet if you haven't done so already. For this video, I will not wear one. Why? Because I am not as smart as you thought. That is my choice. I think I'll go on the sidewalk on this one. If you make smarter decisions, you could be a little more freer. So I'm not wearing a helmet. We approach the Philadelphia Zoo, which is criminally underwhelming. Criminally, the animals, you could call them that, look to be suffering more than a lot of other zoos Maybe he's taking a look at the rhinoceros, just pacing back and forth. It looked like he's losing his mind. People cheering for that. I don't get it. I don't. Where does the money go? This is another road that a little tricky to cross. We're gonna do it after this light over here. See, we'll wait right here. It's not turning. Biker. Let's see. There we go. A lot of people act crazy, so people will leave them alone. Not everybody who acts crazy is crazy. And by crazy, I mean have some kind of mental issue. You just don't know which one is crazy or not. Wait for this light. See a lot of people with signs also waiting. Signs that they say they're homeless. A lot of them are not homeless either, but they know that they will get a lot of money for saying they're homeless. Because you know the people who are not homeless and get a lot of money, and then they're going to work every day, and they're wondering, if I could do the same thing, then I wouldn't have to go to work every day. So I could say I'm homeless and not be homeless and still make money, get in my car, and go live where I need to live, and not be responsible to hold down a job. So it's clever. So if there's no incentive to work, people are not going to work. If people are going to believe every story that's out there, then it's going to do it. And I do think that people want to believe they're doing something good. And that's why a lot of people do decide to help. But a lot of times when you help people monetarily, you're actually holding them back. Because then there's no incentive to even move. But sometimes that's the big picture that you're supposed to become part of and not step back from and see the entirety of it. The feeling of knowing that you earned something. And I'm not talking about just going to work. I'm talking about something that you earned, that you created, something that you built upon. Well, let's stay on this side of the bike lane. And this incline, which is a little more than 20%, was fine for the VoroMotors new refurbished controller, sine wave controller, which before would have been out by now, or would have stopped working. So I still didn't trust it to go deep enough to where I was supposed to go. But I just don't. I can't trust this scooter to go real far because of its past history. So, you know, whatever your past history is, that's what you're going to be known for. And for VoroMotors, that's a crappy product, unfortunately. They might make 10 new scooters, but if you go to their website, they're still having the same old problems, just with other people. I don't want to be like, oh, just because mine is working, the others must be working too. No. I personally experienced horrible customer service and workmanship and craftsmanship from VoroMotors on their eMove Cruiser scooter. This is the scooter I was supposed to get initially, the one that worked, the one that they checked everything for, except I didn't. And when they had a chance to make it right 4 times, they messed up all 4 times. Because if you remember, I started making videos after the 3rd time that I had to go to them for them to correct something, and they started not wanting to correct it the way that it was supposed to be corrected. Even the last time I went, they didn't want to replace the controller because I said that it wasn't written down when they told me they would. So if you take people at their word, you do it for a little while. You don't do it for the entirety of your relationship, especially if you don't know them. Invest in products. For example, Apple. Doesn't matter what you say about them. You could buy an Apple from 2011. It'll still pretty much work the way it's supposed to. I don't know about the new ones, but the old ones, I had one from 2011 that was still working. It might have gone a little slower, but it was still working the way I intended it to work. If I wanted to take more time on it, on doing something, then it would have been, then I would have needed a newer computer, but it still did everything what I needed it to do, of what I needed it to do. You can't say that about a lot of products. For example, the Bose headphones or Bose speakers, they have a great reputation. You know why? Because you can buy a Bose from years ago, probably more than 12, 13 years ago, and it'll still work the way that it was supposed to work. You can't say that about, Sanyo, for example. Back in the day, you knew which companies you could buy and which one you couldn't. Even RCA used to be good, but then when they started cutting corners, they became horrible. Same with Zenith, if you remember Zenith. Same with Quasar, if you remember Quasar. They started to cut corners, and look where they are now. Look at all the American cars that started to cut corners. People wanted to buy American cars until Toyota became the better option. People wanted to trust the product until they started to look stupid for trusting their money and investing in something that was not working. Okay, so now we're entering University City again. Drastic change. We're going to go to the back of Drexel University, battery check. Well, should we do a battery check? Okay. Battery now is at 51%, and the incline of 20%. There's a car coming. Let's give them the right of way. Give them a chance to get past us. Sometimes the car will give you the right of way, but you didn't know that you're waiting to get past a pothole that's in your way that you just don't want to go into. Sometimes you guide him into a pothole by trying to go around him. So we're still here, University City, Amtrak station, and SEPTA stations. Southeastern Pennsylvania Transit Authority. That's what SEPTA stands for. The wind must be at about, I would say, anywhere from 9 to 11 miles per hour today. And it's in front of me. So it's coming from the south. Stay here. Let's see, where do we want to go today? A lot of graduates taking pictures for completing their long, arduous task of obtaining a diploma, who are beautifully smart and as well as sufficiently in debt. So, and here's a bike path. A lot of Indian women around here. A lot of the culinary choices and cuisine options around here cater to the ethnicity of the people that are around here. So you see a lot of Chinese stores also. There's a person sleeping to keep warm over here in front of the university. Another man over here with all his belongings in front of him. He still shops at Target. He has a Target bag next to him. It's probably just the bag he has to hold all his things. Target boycott going on right now. That's a young lady with what is it, yoga pants. It's become a big fashion over the last few years. I wonder if everyone who wears yoga pants does yoga, as well as must be something like everyone who used to wear a jogging suit didn't jog like Al Sharpton back in the day when he was getting people riled up before he bought all his houses, made his millions. See, cars don't usually use their turning signals here. So cross the trolley track. Let's see how it does on this hill. This is one of the more extensive hills. And we're going at 18. Still going. Can't complain about that. And this hospital, this pet medicine building has a helipad on top of it. So you can land the helicopter in case of emergency visits on top of it. You get on the bike lanes. See, the bike lanes are so strange here sometimes. They curve onto traffic, which is not the safest thing, but guess what? It's a Philly thing. Try to make our way down here, no cars coming. Sometimes if you beat the lights, you're actually safer than if you actually just wait for something to happen. I'm not sure what that car was doing. But I'll tell you this, Philadelphia has some of the more beautiful murals you're gonna see. And you're gonna find a lot of kind people around here. You will. It's just that the leadership, like most things, the management, has run a lot of areas in this place to the ground. Crossing 2 lanes of traffic to be on the bike lane on the other side, just so you can have a different view. All this risk that I take for you. You ever see how YouTubers say, I do this for you, when they're doing it to get richer? I did this for you. I took this risk for you. No, then you're gonna look at it and get richer. You also hear some parents saying, I did everything for you. Makes you think. All right, so let's go. Through here, another man sleeping on the floor. My goodness, it has to be the man sleeping on the floor capital of the world. It has to be. I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced of it. He was alive. I saw him pat his stomach. That's where we are in society right now. We know someone is living when we see them pat their stomach. So, I think this might be it for the tour. I don't know how long I was on, probably for about an hour. Time to get some coffee in me. As you see, I'm energized even without coffee. I don't need coffee to keep me going, but it helps. You know what really keeps me going? Enough sleep and fulfillment. I did this for you. No, you did this for money. But seriously, the main reason I do this is for education and for money. No, but seriously, the real reason I do this, I like to keep the customers informed as to what they're getting. I believe, it is my belief, and I strengthen my beliefs by standing by them, is that an informed consumer makes better choices. And if you could keep a little more money in your pocket, then you will be better, society will be better. Less suffering, internally and externally. Popeye's chicken. There used to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken over here, but it didn't do well, so they closed it. and they change it with Love That Chicken. And we end this with this nice, beautiful mural right here in front of me of this older couple in the garden, surrounded by children. Doesn't get more organic than that. Philadelphia, you have won this round. Bye.